Boss, you ain't live till you got a head from a vampire.
Not anymore.
Trying to tell me that all these deaths are accidental? Let's think we're all idiots here or something.
Oh, really?
There we go. Hi. You seem to have stumbled through another portal of nostalgia. And you've stumbled across me, Jokey Pants, and my good friend Cerebral Paul.
Hey, oh, I really should move my thing so I'm looking at the camera when I look at the screen. Well, I can do that. That way people think I'm actually paying attention.
Yeah, so this one doesn't really matter if you pay attention, folks, because this one, this was just a childhood one that I watched a lot. And it's it's not DNA, but it's not great.
You watch this a lot? Ugh.
This played on TV so much.
Just I need a time machine so I can go back and find young Jokey and no, bad boy, no.
This played on TV so much, which it's free on YouTube on many different channels, and it's very easy to tell it was made for TV because they cut away from really everything. But there are some scenes in here that I covered this over with What an Oddcast years ago now, and was just attempting to torture them with things they normally don't watch. And I actually got some laughs out of them with this, and I just take that as a win. So I figured, you know what, we'll throw it on here to do this with. So, Primal Force, 1999. Got the only real notable person in this is Ron Perlman. He's the only reason I watch it.
About it, yeah. and he got upstaged by a monkey, but you know.
So, Primal Force. All right, so we're in 1999. The director is Nelson McCormick. Let's start there. This is about... I want to say it's about the only thing he did that's not a remake of just a named after a remake thing. The other movies he's done are a lot of B movies, but he did do the Stepfather remake in 2009, the Prom Night remake in 2008. It's the only other two bigger notable things he's done.
The Prom Night remake wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, this seems to be his thing. It's like they're not great, but they're not the worst thing you've ever seen. And I'm just like,
I would also say that even though this officially is not a remake, I think it skirts on the edge.
Very much skirts. It really does. Another person. There's two other actors in here that have been in other things, and they don't play parts that are like super huge.
That was it.
Oh, I was just making sure you're good. Sounded like
yeah, I was good. My mom sent me a message. I was seeing what she was saying.
Oh, gotcha. I just wanted to make sure you weren't getting like an emergency thing to happen.
Okay. Oh God, no! I don't get emergency things. I am the emergency thing if something happens. But I'm not that lucky. No.
One of the other people's Guillermo Rios. He's Eddie Mendoza in this, which is he was only pop up for me with movies he'd been in because he plays the bad guy in Columbiana and Clear and Present Danger, which are two other movies that had a bigger time in the sun for a brief moment. And Mark Keeley, who is the other like other antagonists, whatever. He's part of the rescue crew people. He's also been in other things that did better. Horror-wise, he was in Leprechaun 2, but he's in a very brief moment, which is he's the business guy that tries to throw a penny at like the leprechaun and it snaps his finger off for his ring. Other than that, he had a bigger TV career because he was in CSI Miami, Beverly Hills 90210, and there was one other one.
2.0? What?
90210, whatever. I never watched it. I never gave it about it. But he was a reoccurring character in both of those. So that he made his bigger bucks when he went to TV. And Richard Fancy, who I didn't bother writing anything down because his list was way too fucking long because he's in so many other things as just throwaway characters. And I didn't want to write that much stuff down.
The classic character actor. I do everything. When I die, there's going to be 1,000 entries on my IMDb.
Yes. The IMDb.
Hey, but it keeps that paycheck coming in.
It does keep a paycheck coming in. Now I want to ask Paul here. The IMDb had some things. And one of them I didn't notice, and the only thing I could think is that it was just a different model of the same thing that, like, somebody noticed that I was like, I couldn't fucking tell you. But they say that the rifle on the beach of the Radiocom changes guns between cuts. And I tried to notice what they were talking about, and I didn't quite get it, because it was a lever-action rifle.
Okay, I thought so. I didn't pay attention to it, but I was like, that's not the same gun.
I noticed it was because he hands him a lever action, and then it's still a lever action, but it's on the beach. So I was like, what? Is it just a different model of rifle? I don't know guns good enough to know if that switched models, but they're both a lever
I'd have to go back
action.
and check. But yeah, something in my mind flashed that something's weird here. But yeah, I wasn't
I
enough
think I think it was just a different model. Somebody noticed it. That was their big point out. So like, good for you. And then also the other big one was just when Ron Perlman jumps out from Explosive, you can tell that it's not Ron Perlman that's doing the jumping. Yeah.
And this was a much younger Ron Perlman too, when he could still jump,
All right, so let's get into it here.
And maybe he was worried about like damaging his pretty face, because no, that didn't be it at all.
Pretty face. I mean, if that's your thing, that's
there's a reason he got the role of Beast of Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
Hey, look, we can use Ron, and it doesn't take a whole lot of makeup. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah.
Actually, before I fully jumped into this, I just wanted to say, when I covered this with Oddcast, we did this, and we did the Island of Dr. Moreau, because I just wanted to make them torture.
The new one or the old one?
The 90s.
Or the remake or the original? Okay, not the good one. Okay, got it.
I wanted them to suffer. But Ron Perlman shows up in both of these. For Island Dr. Moreau, it blew everyone's mind, but I'm like, you know which character he is? And everyone went, no. I was like, he's the sayer of the law, the fucking ram at the end. That's Ron Perlman. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, that's Ron Perlman. You can't tell because he's all horned up. That's Ron Perlman. And then we immediately watched this. Oh, all right. So this movie has so many things going on. Not really. It's pretty easy to follow. As Paul put it, it's kind of boring.
That's the first 20 or 30 minutes, man. I was like, okay, somebody wake me up when the action starts, man.
So the movie opens with flashback nightmares of our main character, Mr. Brody, Frank Brody, who is Ron Perlman. But it's all flashbacks of when he was on an island and things went horribly wrong and people are running and getting killed and he's just kind of panicking and people are yelling, Brody, Brody, run! And that's it. But that leads us to Brody wakes up in his bed from his nightmares and his hot flash and he's got a knock on the door. And this is when we meet Zach Davis, who is there to hire him because they're looking for a guide to an island that he's been to many times and used to lead tour group things through, and they need him. Which Ron Perlman just goes, nah, just shuts the door, walks away.
I was hoping that was the end of the movie. Personally, I was.
So Zach goes into the house and he's looking through things and he's starts talking. So Ron Perlman, of course, pulls out his sawed-off shotgun. It's like, well, now you're trespassing, and he gets stopped by a guard, and then they explain to him there was a plane crash on an island. They're part of a rescue team. They need him because he knows the island, so they can go get the people that are off of it. Fun fact, there are two rich people who I wish neither of them lived, but... Yeah.
Jurassic Park 2. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud?
It is, to clarify, it is Jurassic Park 3 before
3,
Jurassic Park 3 by only a couple years. So that now I question, did someone fucking see this movie and we're like, it's dinosaurs. Just substitute the animal we'll get into for dinosaurs, and you have the exact same movie premise that happens, which is rich people go to island and have to get saved or save themselves. Somebody watched this movie and was like, I can do it better. So Brody argues with him that anyone there is dead. He doesn't explain why. Just keeps telling him, no, they're dead. Just give up, go home, don't even bother. They're dead. Goodbye. And they leave. That's the opening of this movie, folks. But that's when we cut to the island, and we see, here are my notes, annoying rich people fighting. Pilot heads to river for water because he'd rather face any animals on this island than listen to these two. Like
the real
everyone
Gilligan's
watching
Island
this.
is what that was. Lovey and Thurston are at it again. Okay, let's just go. I
didn't write the girl's name down. I found her so annoying. I just have her as rich girl because she's so annoying. I don't want to. I'd rather she's not in this movie, but she is. It's her and the. He's like a business partner or something along those lines. But his name's Deutsch apparently, or Dooch. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Douche works too, yeah.
Yeah, it's Duetsch. So I don't know why they chose that, but they did. So anyway, pilot goes down. He's getting water.
I'm thinking he's German because that's almost what that translates to. So yeah,
maybe lawyer. I'm just gonna go there.
Lawyer, yeah.
So pilot, he's at the river getting water, and then he gets jumped quick. They don't show you what really happened, but he just gets jumped. Back at the mainland, we get Brody with PTSD, which is going to happen a lot in this movie, where he just randomly remembers horrifying experience and just is like, I gotta shake my nerves off. And then he's practice shooting, but the minute he touches his rifle, even though he could touch other guns and have no issue, the rifle gives him the flashbacks. Apparently, I don't know why, but that happens every time he tries to use his rifle, and I don't understand. And
between his flashbacks and the real attacks, you really don't see shit.
Nope. They're trying.
Even
to
what
be a
you
better
know,
movie.
even know what you know, what the attacks are being brought on by, you still don't see shit.
Yes. Yes. They don't show you anything, like at all.
No, they let your mind fill in the gaps because all you see is sharp teeth and hear noises. That's it, really.
It's something. So we get the rescue team who they look over satellite images of Jurassic. I mean, an island, and figure out what to do. And I swear to God, they just took a screenshot from Jurassic Park in 93, 94 and put that on the screen, because that's really all it looks like. It's just the Jurassic Park island and them clicking on things. Like,
Isla Nublar. Hey.
Literally. Literally, I think they just took that from there.
Look, that's Costa Rica on the right.
Yeah, they're on Costa Rica. They're just like, it's this island over here that no one's allowed to go to, and the government bans you from it. I think I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah.
So right as they're setting off, Brody shows up, and he just says, forgot to say what this gig pays. And they tell him he's late. And this is where, for me, even now, as much as this movie is not the best, Ron Perlman is the best part of this whole movie. He tries too hard for the character he has for what this movie is.
I got to mention what this gig pays.
You're late.
Dock me.
Because they tell him you're late, and he just looks back and dock me, and jumps on the boat. And I went, you're trying too hard, Mr. Perlman. You could give them nothing. You could give nothing lines this whole movie, and you would fit the rest of the tone.
In real life, my response would have said, again, how much is to pay? Because I can get back in the boat and go back.
Yeah. So this is where we get the plot reveal for why.
Okay, when you say plot, you've got to like air quotes that shit. Okay.
A rich man who is the employer of this rescue team bought the island and wants to, quote, make it a resort. But that his daughter, and they say partners, but it's partner. I don't know why there's a partners in there. It's one dude. One dude was on the plane. There was no one else. But anyway, that they were in a crash, and now they have to go get them because it's his employer's daughter. And then Ron Perlman very much is like, what the fuck you mean they're going to make it a resort? Did they tell you nothing about this island? It's completely banned by the government. I don't know. Who allowed him to buy it? And then everyone just ignores him, and they head out to the island. But Brody does tell them it was banned because of animal testing that went horribly wrong, and no one is allowed to go there. So they're idiots for everything that they are doing. And he should have been smart enough to not be on the boat. They also try to argue that they don't have guns, that this isn't that kind of thing, and Brody very, very much is like, oh no, no, you're gonna want those. So they head out to the island. And you may be asking yourself, but what about back at the plane? Wasn't the pilot attacked? Yeah, they don't really show you what happened. They just kind of do that, and then we go back, and it turns out only 5 minutes have passed, because then, while the rich girl and the business partner guy argue, the pilot comes falling out of long grass and tells them to run, and he's dragged away by something.
While we're waiting, why don't we just finish this up? All you gotta do is sign this inspection agreement and the island's yours.
I want to talk to my father first.
Your father, I know your father trusts you, Kelsey, and this deal was almost finished anyway.
At a time like this, and you're trying to close the deal? What the hell is that? I thought you said there are no animals on this island. I thought you said there were no animals on this... Hey! You can't just leave me here!
And the daughter makes the point here to say, I thought you said there were no animals on this island. But of course, douchebag partner's already running away. He's wasted no time. He saw a bloody body and immediately took off.
My hero. Yeah. Remember, you don't have to be the fastest runner. You just have to be faster than the slower guy. You know.
Yeah. She's gonna buy you valuable time. You get far away. So the rescue team gets to the beach and they set up a recon camp and they're gonna monitor things, make sure they know where things are at. They're going by the plane's black box. I assume. It's very much I assume. They don't specify if it has a tracker or if that's what they're doing, but they have a pinpoint on it.
No, at some point they did say it was a tracker. At some point they did say whatever it was had a tracker.
I guess I missed that somewhere. I assume the black
That's
box.
not hard. It wasn't hard to do. Yeah.
So yeah, Brody hands out a bunch of guns. This is where I said I noticed that it is a lever action rifle at the radio table, but I don't know. I'll keep watching. Maybe it changed models, and that's just I'm not gun smart enough to know what. But apparently it switches.
I'll tell you what,
at some point.
the gun that he handed the girl, if she shot that thing, she would have broke her nose probably. That thing would have come firing back into her face really hard. Just hand it to her. Just point shoot. Hey, you'll be fine. Bullshit. If she never
gives this woman like a Colt 44, and it's just a big ass revolver.
And she's never fired. And she said, "I've never fired a gun before." Okay, well,
she's never fired a gun before. Hands her that, and she goes, "Oh God, this could kill a rhino." Dead in the face. No, it can't. like no.
Which is true. It'll piss the rhino off, though.
And they also ask, there's a building up on the hill that's all blocked off with a fence. And Brody just refuses to acknowledge that. He's like, no, we're ignoring that. Your thing's over here. Keep going. We're not going to. That's later movie plot. Let's not talk about that yet. And as the team goes, they find a bunch of bones, a bunch of gazelle and different things, and then they find some human bones. And Brody gets struck by more flashbacks of baboons. Because fun fact, it's baboons. Just a bunch of baboons.
By the way, the human skull that raised up, it had 2 distinct bullet holes in it, which they never really do explain. I mean,
I would assume it's meant to be played off as like animal tooth marking, but there's no other marks on it, so it's like
no, those were bullet holes.
Cut back to the rich people. The business partner dude. He's talking about he's going to drop the price of the island if they just don't ever mention any of this unfortunateness. He'll cut the price in half. He'll make a deal of a lifetime. And this is where you get the only kind of backstory of who the hell these people are, which is very vague because the daughter just mentions that they're oil tycoons. And that's it. Who are they? Fuck, if you are ever going to find out in this movie, that's all you get. Just a rich oil tycoon who apparently wants the island. Okay. I also kind of wonder if it's the same person who was involved with the first thing that this island was going to be. But then again, I couldn't tell you. So the rescue team is headed towards the plane. They walk through some like tallish grass areas, and there are 2 baboons that are clearly sitting in plain view, and they run away, and the team just goes, "What was that?" And I had to go, "What? The fuck you mean? You didn't just see that they were literally 2 feet away from you and ran away? What do you mean, what was that? How did no one see that?"
The mind of a goldfish. Yeah.
But they find a dead boar because apparently they just killed a boar 2 seconds before they showed up, and no one heard that going on either, which way more questions. they head up the river because Brody says it's easier than the way they want to go, and he's not telling him that the way that they want to go leaves them too exposed because it seems like he very much doesn't want them to panic. So it's like, no, we're gonna go this way because it's faster, and I'm not gonna give you any reason of anything. Just take your guns and go this way. Stop asking questions. But at the site, the baboons completely destroy the inside of the airplane, and they take the tracker and everything. And the recon beach tells them, "Hey, the signal's moving." This is another.
You can't do that.
This is another scene. While Davis is having this conversation, he's standing underneath what looks like an African tree. And I say that because like it's the same kind of tree you see in like any Nat Geo with like a leopard in it. But while he's standing under this tree, you see like 4 baboons just kind of climbing up behind him, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you don't hear or even notice any of that? There is no way.
There's a lot of that in this movie. There's a lot of that in this movie. There's a whole lot of that.
So they fire a thermal radar thing. This is something in this movie where the recon mortars up some kind of thing that parachutes itself down and apparently gives him thermal readings of the island. And I'm like, I feel like that didn't go high enough to do any of that. Also, it's like almost on the ground. What do you mean it's still reading the thermal senses on the island? What is this? What kind of fancy bullshit tech is this? It doesn't make any sense. But he tells him that there's like 30 signatures of thermal, and he doesn't understand why. And I'm like, are you just told there's no animals at all? You couldn't think that like maybe you're getting the signature of like a bird or maybe a cat. God only knows what you're going to be paid. Like anything, any living creature other than you guys, for the love of God, man. Anyway, so night sets in. The rich duo ends up back at the plane, and they start a fire. How they start a fire? I don't know. It just skips to they have a fire now. I don't know where they got the supplies, but they got fire. And while they're doing that, they find flares. And the rich girl just decides, I'm going to shoot a flare because I'm scared and maybe someone will see it. Maybe someone will see it. But she scares herself even more because then she kind of sees what's hiding in the tall grass. But they try to hide it a little, still hide it. Even though you've already seen them in other places. I don't know why they try so hard to make them like they're peeking out of the grass.
You've also seen shadow images of them, even if you haven't seen them directly. You've seen shadow images to make very clear that
But the rescue team arrives because they see the flare, and then they get down and they're looking over.
By that way, I will say, regardless of her reasoning, her doing that was probably one of the more intelligent things to do in the movie.
I guess that's fair. I suppose. The way
that if there is a rescue party in the
it,
area that might see the flare, doing it at night is the best time to do it and go, hey.
Yeah. She doesn't have that reasoning, but yes.
Yeah.
The rescue team shows up at the plane. But then Brody just goes apeshit and jumps out of the weeds and starts opening fire without any care of who might be in the way of where he's shooting as he sees the baboons coming over the hill. He pretty much just opens fire on the rich.
Hey, he read the script. You know,
no, they can't be allowed to leave. So that happens. He shoots a baboon. First off, he runs out of ammo and he tosses his gun back. And
I was going to mention that. Yeah.
It's like, what? Can you not?
There was nobody behind him. Basically, he chucked his gun. Okay. He said, what the hell? You know?
He pulls out his rifle and baboon's running across the plane. He shoots it, takes it down, saves them. Davis has the correct response of what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I don't care what was there. You kind of just about shot everyone we came here to save. Like, what the fuck? And then, so they have a bit of a tiff there. And they find the baboon.
Have you lost your mind? You ever do that to me again, I swear I'll kill you.
That's when Brody comes over, and they're looking it over, and he goes, I bet you won't see that in National Geographic. It's like, well, actually, fun fact, they do, because they immediately look up what it is.
Yeah.
So, I don't get that line. That line would make sense if they were actual, like, mutated animals, where these are just genetically modified, so they still look like the thing that they would have been.
So
this
now we
line is
cross
a
over
strange
into
one.
the Planet of the Apes, which he does mention, by the way.
Yeah, this is where we get a full plot lore drop, just completely here. Because Brody tries arguing that they need to leave now, and that they need to just get the hell off the island, no stalling. And they keep asking why, and he says that the baboons are designed smarter to kill. And everybody argues that's not a thing, animals don't kill. And Brody makes the comment about, well, some grizzly bears are known to hold, a grudge and go after hunters who have shot at them. So, I mean, I think I'm pretty valid in saying that they will come back and kill us because we killed one. So, and he also mentions throughout history about, like,
They'll try to divert us, split us up. And they'll gang up on the stragglers. Prowlers go for the legs. You fall and you can't get up because your nerves have been severed. And they go for the kill shot to the head. These are fearless warriors. Kalahari Bushmen admired them for their strength. The Egyptians worshipped them for their intelligence. And the Greeks just called them evil. This is a whole other animal. Once they find you, they won't stop because they can't.
That's when they look up that it's the dog-faced baboon. And she doesn't understand the Dr. Cunningham with them. Doesn't understand why they're so big. She's like, they're supposed to only be maybe 3 feet tall at most. And she goes, but this one is clearly about 5 feet and much bigger. And Perlman brings up, yeah, and some of them get to about 250 pounds. And they'll chase you down. And they'll get you. Because that's what they do.
And she says no, and I say, did you watch the movie with Mark Wahlberg that came out a couple of years ago? No.
First here 10 years ago, there were 70 different species of animal on this island. Have you seen any other species of animal? They're going to do it because they don't have a choice. They ate everything else. And I went, how have they survived so long? Because I feel like they probably would have eaten most of that before that 10-year time came up. So, and there was a boar, so technically there is still something, Mr. Perlman. I think you're just a little off on that you haven't seen anything else. But okay.
Maybe they ate each other. Dr. Zayas, Caesar, we don't see any of them, so,
Yeah, they ate the smartest ones first. So they camp out for the night. Dr. Cunningham sneaks off, but she gets met up by Brody, who just tells her, basically he calls her out. He's like, you're clearly looking for something else. You're not here for just the rescue party. And she argues back that it's none of his business, and he should mind his own. And he goes, okay. Just remember the next time you walk away at night, I'm not going to be here to save you, and it'll be the last fucking time you ever do that. So, just keep in mind, you're not safe on this island. And then he walks away. So the next morning, this here, the next morning, This is one of my favorite scenes. It's just one of my favorite lines in this movie. Is the rich girl tries to bring along her big-ass suitcase, and she's making a big ol' huff about it. And Brody comes over, and he's like, bare minimum. What about bare minimum was hard to understand? And she goes...
We leave everything here.
That is like $1,000 suitcase.
Not anymore.
Back to the crew.
Pretty much what I would have done too. Exactly what I would have done. Yeah.
100%. I love that scene so much. So, as they're walking, we once again get more goddamn just plot lore drops of what this movie is, for the love of God. So Brody goes into detail when they ask him what's up with the island, why he was here, blah, blah, blah. Brody says the island was being made into a premium high-class hunting preserve, and that it was going to be used to bring in exotic black market animals, and the highest bidders could come and hunt them. But what they realized is it's not much of a challenge.
That was a 70s movie, by the way. I don't remember the name of it, but
yes. But yeah, they needed something better, because as much as people were paying top price to come shoot like a rhino or a giraffe, like, not enough. You need something else. So you would think, like, okay, bring like a leopard or some lions, something along those lines. But they had a better idea, folks. They were going to just genetically engineer a better predator. And what better thing to start with than baboons? I guess. Because they're intelligent. Which didn't go well. Because then within 6 months, they managed to break out and started hunting down all the other animals. And he says, quote, within 6 months of getting out, they hunted everyone, and Brody barely escaped with his life as they managed to kill all the other hunters that were on the island. It started with 1 incident, and then 2, and then before we knew it, we were outnumbered. And I went, did you design them to also breed like rabbits? Like, what the fuck how many baboons did you have? Like, what do you mean?
Well, after 10 years, there are going to be a lot of them now.
The worst part, folks, he says the baboons were just a test run, and that they were going to try to do that to something else. Thank God they didn't, because who knows what else they would have tried to mutate in this way, if that's where you were starting. Also, the boat's gone. They get notified by the recon team that the boat took off. Because much like Jurassic Park, they just went, this island's cursed? Hell no. And they left. So, which I feel like it's such a tiny thing. If you could have paid your boat guy even better, and he probably would have ignored anything about that. So clearly you didn't pay him enough, and he decided to leave. So they have recon try to figure out calling for another boat, calling the boat, anything that they can while they make their way back to him. And as the group continues, they end up through like a ravine, dried riverbed thing, which is I have a nitpick thing here. So they're walking through what's like, I don't know, trees in a field. And Brody says that they're too open and they need to take a different path. So he instead leads them through a dried up riverbed like ravine with like cliff faces around them. Because that's even better apparently than where you were going to go.
Now, anybody who's ever watched an old cowboy movie or Western uses the term box canyon. Okay, this is not a good idea.
Yeah. Baboons start rolling some rocks, setting up a trap. Everyone thinks that they're just rocks falling and that Brody's crazy. Even though they clearly saw one get shot, they're still just like, you're crazy. That was a one-off. I'm like, excuse the fuck out of me? So this is where the rich partner here, he tries to bribe Brody, telling him, just to ignore everything going on and that he'll make his day very good if he goes back to the mainland and says that none of this is a thing so he can make the deal that he's making. And Perlman just completely ignores him and says, you should stick to the right. There's a lot of rocks over there. You could fall easily. And keeps going. And I'm like, you know what? At least he's got some kind of moral compass of, I don't care about your money. Fuck you. So, at least somebody does.
First priority is we have to get off the island. Okay, we can talk about this shit after we're off the island. Yeah.
It's true. But this is where the baboons pick up rocks and start throwing them so that everyone scatters. And I even have in my notes, Brody literally just told everyone that what they will do is try to make people scatter apart. So instead of running together, everyone immediately splits apart. Immediately. Ignoring everything he had just said. So the rich girl jumps into water because apparently the baboons don't swim. Apparently, because they don't even bother trying to go after her. So she gets away. The rich business partner guy, he just comes face to face and they maul him. So he's dead now.
And there was much rejoicing. Oh, sorry.
Just a little bit. So everybody gets back together at this point. Eddie ends up heading off. He finds the rich girl to bring her back to the group. And then Brody proceeds to scream at everyone about how they're all a bunch of goddamn idiots. Because he literally had just told them, don't split up, don't let them break us apart. And now a guy's dead and you all almost died because you're a bunch of idiots. Dr. Cunningham is still missing. She ended up getting separated as well. And this is where, as she's running, she pulls an Uncle Sam and runs into a fucking tree branch, knocks herself out. Just, how did she not see it? How did she not see the giant branch? But I have good news. It's not Bad Moon. She only has 6 shots. As she uses her revolver to fight baboons off. I even rewinded it to make sure. They made sure the count was correct. But Dr. Cunningham gets dragged off by the baboons. Brody hears her shooting, tries to head off to help her, and he doesn't make it in time. Brody ends up going back to the group, and he tells them, no, she's dead. They dragged her off. They kept her alive. Couldn't tell you why, but she's dead. There's just only one place they're going to go, but we're not going to go.
By the way, I want to point out here that when they, quote, drag her off and the other scenes where we see her getting dragged off, it was a very steady drag. It was almost like, in Return of the Jedi when they have them all tied to sticks and they're taking them through the jungle and they're, it looked like that, but it was supposed to basically be in 1 or 2 or 4 baboons carrying her. She wouldn't have been so steady. I mean, she was on a steady stroll, baby. She was on a track. I'm like, wow, they doing really good here. Yeah,
true.
It's just one of those things that I noticed that there's no way she was being carried by actual people or baboons.
Yes. So at this point, when Brody gets back to the group and says he's not going to go after Cunningham because she's already dead, Davis tries calling him out by saying, that's exactly what happened last time, isn't it? That you ran away and everyone died. And I have here, Brody, it gives him the equivalent of a pistol whip, but with a shotgun butt, and just pop. and is like, "Don't ever."
That's the John Wayne. That's the John Wayne love bump, is what that is.
Yes, yeah, it was very much. Don't ever disrespect me like that. But because of this, apparently it gets to him, because then Brody agrees to lead Davis to go find Cunningham, and he's like, "I know where she's gonna be. You're just not gonna want to go there. But if that's you want to die, then by all means." So they leave Rich Girl with Eddie, and they head off. I have a note here of I have no idea how big this island is, because they seem to just kind of get everywhere within an hour. Not too much traversing.
Yeah, that transition was really quick. The whole thing was really...
This whole thing happens... All of this, leading into where they go for the finale, all happen in the same day. So this island is apparently looks big, but is tiny as hell, because they're able to do all this in like a...
I'm just talking about
span.
him. Okay, we're going to go to where she's at. They cut to her. They cut to the apes throwing her down this hole. And all of a sudden there's gunfire and they're there. It's like, were they that close already? Seriously? They were like a block and a half away, apparently.
I have a note about the cave scene. So yeah, Cunningham ends up in the Baboons' den, and the guys head up to rescue her. This is where the recon base camp gets raided by Baboons, and the guy had been warned early on of like, hey, keep your gun near you. Apparently, there may be something dangerous. They somehow steal his rifle, and he doesn't notice that. He's sitting literally.
So here's the deal. What he did was he set it down. It's right there. We know it's right there. He turns away, talks on the radio, turns, it's gone. You see the hand going from under the tent with the rifle, and apparently it makes no noise when this thing picks up the gun and drags it under a canvas awning.
It doesn't make any noise at all, and they also drag it away and throw it just in the middle of the beach, and didn't make a single noise of any kind doing any of these things.
And we've seen little hints, because they show us a couple of shadows moving across where, and he sees something, he's still oblivious.
He sees a shadow. But yeah, he gets eaten. Base camp guy gets eaten. They pick him up.
Here's another thing too. Okay, so he sees the gun and he doesn't question it. I don't know how it got out there, but I'm gonna go out there and get it.
Yeah, this is
okay. Well, and then he blinks, and all of a sudden, he puts his glasses on, and there's a monkey out there. And then so I'm gonna talk quiet to the monkey. And okay, so they're smart enough, because what they do is, while this one monkey is distracting him, this is their clever girl moment from Jurassic Park, because
two of them in this movie. Yes.
The two others of them are the ones who destroy the base camp, and then they destroy him. Yeah, it was really bad. It was just no.
So he's dead. Just important part, he's dead. They have no radio. Everything's gone. But it's okay, because Brody and Davis reach the baboon den. Which again, this island is somehow tiny, yet looks like they filmed it straight in Africa. So couldn't tell you where this is on the island and why it doesn't seem to fit any of the rest of the geography of this island, because it doesn't. But
Well, here's the thing though. In the timing of this, it seems like they just got her to camp when all of a sudden they're there. So
yeah,
were they that much quicker than the
they were
did they take a different path, or what do we
We'll never know. We'll never know, because this has some real hard cuts that just don't give any explanation how that works.
No, the timing just doesn't work at all.
This here, and it is such a small little throwaway thing, but for whatever reason, when I had Oddcast watch this, our buddies Sven and Mike and Anthony all got a kick out of this line specifically, to the point now that if we ever meet Ron Perlman, we want him to sign something with this exact line on it, just because it's so, I don't know, just oddball, and the way he delivers it is very much a sarcastic asshole of like, I don't know, you're fucking asking me this question. I don't know.
I think it's best I go in alone. If I don't make it, shoot anything that comes out of there.
How many you figure are in there?
Oh, 1, 2, less than 1 million.
So that is the line that if I ever meet Mr. Perlman, I want him to sign something with that, just because he probably won't ever remember where he said that, and that would also just bring me joy to confuse him of where the hell did I say this? And I'd be like, do you remember 1999? You did a little film called Primal Force.
You know, he probably doesn't remember 1999 very well either. So, you know.
So, yeah. So, Paul, this is where I have my note on this scene. Brody heads in the cave, and then he finds Dr. Cunningham, but the cut of how he walks into the cave to the cave that he's standing up, like, above where she is, they don't look like the same cave at all.
Well, and when she got thrown in there, it was pretty much from a wide open space to into the cave. I mean, it wasn't a big thing. It was like
when she's first thrown into the cave, it looks like a cave out of like The Descent, where she's just in a dark little space that they had to drag her into. But when Perlman finds her, there's just a wide opening that has the sunlight. Yeah. But it's also different from the clear, like, circular cave that he walked into.
Right.
The edits don't make any... There's no consistency in this movie, and this is a great example. Those are
this was a sci-fi original. I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, it was. So Brody heads in, and that can't be the same cave. Brody fights Cunningham and scares off baboons with a couple shots. Because guns scare them, I guess. The one thing where I'm just like, what the fuck you mean? They outnumber him. Why would they run away? This is literally their den. What do you mean?
It would still startle them. I mean, they're smart enough to know that if whatever comes out of that thing hits you, you know, you're toast. You know.
I suppose, but
remember, monkeys do understand death and the loss of a mate or whatever. So, you know,
I have an issue with it solely because of a scene that will come up very shortly where gunshots do not faze them.
Or at least don't faze a Caesar or whatever the main monkey's name is. I don't know. They never.
No, it's
Kong, whatever they were going for here. Yeah.
Brody sets an explosive in this cave, and he's hoping that it can just seal them in and buy them time so they can get away. Cunningham tries to say, we shouldn't kill them because we never know what we might learn from them. They've evolved so quickly over 10 years from being basic baboons. And again, Mr. Perlman, I thank you for my childhood with this, because just goddamn your lines in this movie, my guy. Because Brody then turns to her and goes, well, then we should get out of here before they discover cable. And throws the bomb and drags her out of the cave. Just like, why? Why aren't these lines in this movie? So arriving back to the others, they head for the beach.
Well, no, wait. I also have a question here, because when they're leaving the cave and they show them, and how long did you set the timers for? What did he say? Like 15 minutes?
Yeah.
And it immediately went off, like right behind them. So it took you 50 minutes to get 20 yards? Really? Seriously? You got
Yeah, so this is a fun fact. So while they were running, they tripped into a movie slow motion, and they unfortunately slowed them down just enough so where they'd barely be able to escape the explosive. I'm sorry, folks. Is that bullshit? Do you call it bullshit? Well, I call bullshit on this movie because I agree. The explosive just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's sad because they get to recon and he's dead. Obviously, we saw him dead earlier, but he's also in a different position because when he dies, when they attack the base of operations, he's on his back. But then when they come back, they don't show you the top half of his body and only show you that his feet, but he's clearly laying on his back. So either they flipped him over before they left, or more likely, because of this movie has this issue, they just have terrible editing continuity and forgot how he actually died.
Well, if they were killing for food, maybe they did flip him over. Maybe or they did other gross, disgusting things to the corpse. Who knows? Yeah.
Come on now. Come on now. They dig through what's left, which, fun fact, there's not a whole lot of anything left. The baboons destroyed everything. Those damn dirty apes. And
which was the line I kept waiting to hear, by the way.
So did I. I kept waiting. Everything, even the inflatable boat, is destroyed. But they find the spare life raft that somehow didn't get touched at all. And Brody goes, "Yeah, that's great. For two of us. That's built for two." And the rich girl goes, "Well, somebody could just hang on the side and swim along." He goes, "Yeah, the sharks will love that." So yeah, that's a great idea.
I would have been like, "That's you."
Yeah, I would have too. Like, "Oh, thanks for volunteering." And this is where Dr. Cunningham points out that there's clearly some kind of building. If this was supposed to be a game preserve, is that the building up on the hill that you won't go to? Brody explains, yes, that is the research base facility. It's has a transmitter on it, has a radio that I used to escape here 10 years ago, but that's if it even still works, as it sat for 10 years with no one doing any maintenance to anything. So maybe it doesn't even work. But fuck it, we're going to try if we can make it. Because fun fact, once again, the island is bigger than it appears, and there's apparently just a whole fucking grassland safari in between the beach and this base. I don't know, folks. There's so much to this island that doesn't make sense. So, yeah, they head out for that. Brody and Davis go forward with the bigger guns and make sure that there's nothing in the way. And Brody and Davis are having a conversation, and Davis brings up, well, I think I'd rather have a fight. If we're going to have to fight him, I'd rather fight him here because there's not trees or anything for them to hide in. And Brody makes the point of yeah, you see that grass? You wouldn't know if they were 2 feet away from you. So here's probably not a good spot to fight him either. Also, fun fact, we don't have enough bullets. We're just going to die.
Again, good call, because he knows, he watched Jurassic Park. So he knows that if they're in the high grass, you're not going to see them coming,
And maybe, folks, maybe remember that Paul brought up the clever girl moment.
Yeah.
There's another clever girl moment in this sequence here. Eddie gets lured off path because something from recon base catches his eye. So, of course, he walks into the grass thinking, oh, I'm going to kill the baboon that killed my friend. And yeah, it's another clever girl moment as they begin to just swarm around him, and Eddie opens fire and calls for help. Because he's too stupid to realize he probably shouldn't have walked in and gone after it. It's a pretty obvious trap. Just saying. Brody doesn't go help because he gets struck with flashback PTSD for the millionth time in this movie. As you remember,
what he should have done is yelled, "I told you so," and then
and just gone for the transmitter. Just left everyone. So they do manage to get to Eddie and save him, and they also save the two Dr. Cunningham and the rich girl there. But Eddie's all torn up because they already tore his legs, so he can't really walk, and he's pretty messed up. They should just leave him, because just saying, he's gonna die anyway. You have no medical supplies. You have nothing to help this man. He's going to die regardless of what you do right now.
Yep, I can guarantee you those claws were not clean when they tore him up.
Oh no. So yeah, they arrive at the base. They get up in the tower. Brody checks over the radio tower itself. He also checks over like the fuel barrels. Is everything still good here? And everyone kind of fucks off. Cunningham goes into what would be the geneticist doctor's office, because there's a fun little thing we'll get into in just a second with that. Fun thing we'll get into with that. And Brody and Davis kind of have another one of those macho standoff bits where Brody's going to go do the power and Davis is all, yeah, you're probably, going to die. Or if you don't die, you're probably going to leave us to die like you did 10 years ago. And Brody's like, man, what the fuck? Did I not try to save your ass? Like, what is your problem? Like, have I not done enough to
at some point, I'm just going to shoot you would be my response,
Exactly. So yeah, Brody goes.
No witnesses out here, man. Nobody's gonna be able to tell what happened.
Other than the baboons, and they're not talking yet.
Yeah.
That I was waiting.
Antagonize the guy. Keep antagonizing the guy that can save your ass. Yeah, that's always it.
There's a baboon at the end of this movie, folks, that I am surprised it didn't just straight talk and just have a conversation with Brody at the end. I'm gonna be real honest.
I'm surprised they didn't pull out a gun. Seriously, I told you that. I've had 10 years to learn how to use this shit.
That might have been a funner ending instead of what the fuck they did. So Brody gets the power back on. As Cunningham is reading through the doctor's journal, then she sees a tape recorder. And my note here, I'm not entirely sure because I've never let one get this dirty. But however, pretty sure a 10-year-old tape and a tape recorder wouldn't work if you just go and threw it in the little tape recorder. There's something in my brain that goes, I'm pretty sure all the tape on there is so coated in dust and bullshit. That's not going to play the way you think it's going to play.
It wouldn't be a clean recording by any means. It'd be
no, it would not be crystal clear like what she gets.
No. Well, to be fair though, the only part that would get dusty is the part that's actually exposed on the outer edge of the tape. The rest of it, if it's wound up, it's going to be pretty clean. The head on the tape recorder is a different issue.
That's fair.
Yeah,
yeah, I guess that's fair.
Because I have used a lot of magnetic tape in my day. So,
like I had things like that when I was a kid for like books on tape for car rides, but like it just something in my brain. It's just with how caked full of dust and what all of that stuff is. I'm like, I'd
be more concerned with the fact that if I remember right, it was a portable tape recorder.
Yes.
I don't know how it would still have power. The batteries would be long since, drained.
I guess
because 10 years just sitting there, they're still going to drain. Yeah.
It would not be possible to breed animals to become more aggressive predators. They ostracized me and called me irresponsible, too radical, banished me from their lofty halls of learning with a sign around my neck which read, extremist. And to them, I have but one thing to say. Being an extremist is the only way to discover where the boundaries of what is possible truly lie. Clearly, my tests show that there are no limits to what we could do here. Somebody will recognize what I'm doing here is Nobel Prize caliber work. And if they don't, radical. They don't know what radical is. I'll show them radical. Radical is their way of drawing a line between themselves and what they cannot comprehend. They have no concept of the courage it takes to tap into the primal fear of another living creature. Turn it into a force of fury with one pure purpose, to survive at all costs. No bother with the social order of the group. No bother with the thousands of needless minutiae that clutter up our lives. Wives, children, family, friends. Imagine the pureness in that. By increasing the DNA strength in these animals, I have accelerated the breeding cycle to a level nature itself would never have achieved. I have stared into the face of God, and guess what? He blinked.
And I went, no, you're just crazy. You're just straight crazy, because that makes absolutely no sense that would be the next step of human evolution. What?
I'm pretty sure that's actually a quote from another movie, too.
I'm pretty sure it is, too. I've heard that line before. I'm going to let Paul look this up, because I'm pretty sure it is as well. Oh, and that also the doctor got cast out by all his peers because they also called him crazy, because he's fucking insane.
Okay, I can't find it, but it's pretty close to what Frankenstein did. What Frankenstein did when the monster arose, when the creature arose. The part that they actually edited out of the movie for the longest time, where he says, I am God. And so they censored that part out of the movie for the longest time because, you don't say things like that. But yeah, so it's pretty close to that same idea that the scientist thinks they have become like a god.
Yeah, he's just super. He's just crazy, folks. This scientist went absolutely crazy.
I don't know how he thinks that's the future of mankind. He's doing it to,
we get into it right now because.
But also I want to point out that his idea that by the way he explains it, there wouldn't be that many of them because they would also be scared of each other. They would be their survival would be based on themselves. They would be very selfish. By the way he explained it, they're with.
Yeah, that's something in this movie, huh? Is why do they keep breeding? Why are they doing what they're doing? It doesn't fit.
Why haven't they not killed each other?
Yeah, but it's okay. Brody gets back into the tower, and this is where he has a chat with Dr. Cunningham, and he sees the journal, and he knows whose journal that is, so he questions her. And this is where she reveals it, folks. Big fucking surprise that the scientist was her father, and that he had disappeared when she was young.
It's always the father.
It's very true. It's 9 times out of 10, it is always the father or somebody. But yeah, he had disappeared when she was a kid, and her mom had always said that he had gone crazy and abandoned them, and she wanted proof of what actually happened. And now she sees her mother was right. Go fucking figure. But this is something that we brought up on Oddcast, because we covered this shortly after COVID had happened. And we were like, ooh, man, that's a plot point, huh? That's, ooh. As she reveals in his journal, he brings up that he was modifying vaccines and was going to be giving them to the local children back on the mainland, telling them it was booster shots, but in reality, he would be mutating their genetics. And I went, Yeah, that was a plot point in a lot of movies.
This is why apparently
Around
this
this
that might be
time.
where where Q got the idea then, huh? Yeah, somebody
Yeah, Primal Force is just influencing too many things. Somebody needs to take this out of rotation. So yeah, that was the whole reason she came, is she wanted to know what happened to her dad, and Daddy's crazy. So there's that. What a fun time. They use the radio. The transmitter somehow still fucking works. Nothing's fallen into disrepair in this whole place, apparently.
on an island in the wait, I want you to get this now. On an island in the ocean that, storms, all kinds of crap over 10 years, antennas, whatever. Yeah.
As someone who's living on an island nation at the moment like this,
Who loses power every time somebody sneezes in the wrong direction?
This building, all of this is not going to stay the way it is. And you could come at me in the comments if you want, but having been here, buildings that people don't maintain regularly do not last. Between storms, the extreme heat and weather that comes with everyday life here, this is not how that would work.
Well,
that would be an extreme disrepair.
Not only that, if it's in the ocean, the same issue they had with Alcatraz is just being in the salt air all the time erodes the foundations and the buildings. That's the upkeep is outrageous just because yeah.
Yeah, so all of this is that's not, none of this should be
I mean, given that a couple of weeks ago they said that big tsunami was coming, they told you need to go inland. So yeah.
when they're going to walk up to all of this, and we get to that whole second clever girl bit, there's an iron gate that they touch and it just falls over. That should be the entire area that they're in right now. There shouldn't be anything that they can walk on. So yeah, they call for help, but of course the nighttime has rolled in. And the baboons have come running. And that is because when they turned on the power initially, there was a big ass alarm that was going off. Because, they were in, emergency state when they lost power. So it triggered to let the baboons know that's exactly where they were. And the troop comes. And they tear apart the transmitter, they tear apart everything just as someone answers, and they are trying to tell them where they are. Everything gets destroyed because movie's gonna movie. This bit of scene here. They all get guns. They all get handed guns. They all get put on stage.
The humans, not the baboons.
All the people. Brody says very specifically, don't shoot unless it's a kill shot, because we don't have much ammo, and we're going to want to make it last as long as we can. They waste every single shot in this entire fight. There's not a single one of them that goes for a kill shot. It is honestly amazing that even Brody broke his own rule immediately. Davis also gives Brody his line back right as the baboons are coming up, which is, there's more than 2, but there's less than 1 million. And yeah, they just unload blindly into the ceiling. Like, literally, they hear some feet, and you just see Brody go, like, they don't know where they are. There's a tin steel roof above you. You don't know where they are. You said don't shoot unless you have a kill shot, and everyone just immediately opens fire above them. They give Eddie a shotgun because they're like, hey, just in case. Which, thank God, because Dr. Cunningham tries patching him up to keep him alive. And before he dies of blood loss, he kills a baboon that jumps down behind her. So So Eddie's dead now. Go fucking figure. The dude, again, he was going to die. His legs were ripped to shit. His face was all ripped up. Like, the man wasn't gonna make it. So yeah, they survive this whole thing. Brody almost gets dragged out. Davis ends up saving him. And they have their moment of like, I thought you abandoned everybody, but I see now with what you're doing with us, you probably tried your best back then too. And there's just too many. No shit.
And Brody's thinking to himself, no, I ran like hell. I wasn't stupid.
yeah, Brody meanwhile is like, no, I served SOS.
But yeah, we'll go with your story. We'll go with your story. Yeah,
you make me sound better, sure. Meanwhile, the ghost of Dr. Cunningham's dad is up there just like, that piece of shit. He let me die.
Yeah. You'll notice he had his special gun with him when he left too. Yeah.
Which actually,
like I said earlier, you don't have to be the fastest runner. You just have to be faster than the other guy. So yeah.
I actually did forget to mention earlier when Brody's talking to Dr. Cunningham, he does actually bring up what happened, which partly plays into how this movie will end with Brody.
Oh yeah, the big monkey climax. Yes.
He mentions that the doc was crazy, but that they had good times and they would share cigars and some bourbon at the fire every night. And that when everything hit the fan, the doctor had locked himself out of the tower so that Brody could send the distress call and get people to safety. And Brody said that he hated him for that because he realizes now it's that son of a bitch let me live so that he could die. And I have to live with all this shit. Now I understand why he did it. And I'm like, oh, is it also because he's just fucking insane and probably thought he could control the baboons and got himself killed? Did that ever cross your mind, Brody? Because I think that's probably more likely. I am your father. You will obey me. And then he got torn apart is what I think happened.
Remember, that's the Frankenstein thing. The creature destroys the creator. That's a monster movie thing all the time, including Jurassic Park. If you read the book, don't watch the movie.
Yes, I'd actually agree with that. Yes. So it's at this point now the baboons kind of flee back. They're gonna regather their force and come back at them. So Brody and the gang all decide, you know what? We have enough gasoline. It's also because Brody just starts laughing uncontrollably, and it's because he realizes there's so much gasoline, all they have to do is lure the baboons into the tower, and they could just blow and burn them all up and escape that way. So they use Eddie's body, throw him in an office chair, put him in front of the PA system with the tape recorder. They set up a bunch of gasoline at the bottom of the tower. They set a rope to close the grate, because apparently the baboons can't just open that and get out, as we'll see. And the bait is set, the trap is set. They play the recording, and they all hide in a little shed. And the baboons come back thinking that someone's in the tower trying to be whatever, I don't know, I guess use the PA system. Regardless, they come up, they start eating away at Eddie's body, and then one of them sees the tape recorder and just smacks it, and everything stops, and they don't put two and they're supposedly smart, but they don't put two and two together. They've already killed this guy, and that nobody's actually talking. Apparently they're not that smart. And Brody slams the grate down on the tower and traps them up there. And, Davis tries to run out with a lantern in, like, some kind of torch Olympic ceremony. He's going to light the fire. But this is where we mentioned before. There's a bigger baboon who apparently wasn't dumb enough to go up the tower, and we learn this is the leader of them, I guess, is what's implied here. But anyway, he jumps Davis and starts beating the ever-living shit out of him. and just rips him a new back.
This is the 250-pound one that apparently Ron Perlman's character knew about, by the way.
Yeah. Which, fun fact. Now, folks, I want you to take a moment. Do you think option A happens? All right, and this is where Brody says, "You damn dirty ape," and shoots it. Does he do B, fist fight it for absolutely no reason? Or C, does it eat everyone? If you chose A, I don't blame you. That makes sense. No, it's B. He just fist fights the fucking baboon, saying, hey,
by the way, after saying, now, this is the whole thing, because this is the whole tie-in to his memories, too, is he says, do you remember me? Because I remember you. So apparently, he's probably the one who originally wounded this poor thing. And remember, they were always talking about they remember who wounds him and shit like that. Yeah, he probably... By the way, in real life, this fight would not have lasted that long, and Brody would not have lived, because even a regular baboon will take your arm off and rip it off and beat you with it.
Remember me? Because I sure as hell remember you, you son of a bitch.
The first time you see him charging at Brody, and Brody basically does this judo move out of the way and flips him. I'm like, bullshit. Okay.
He just kicks this fucking baboon like it's a stuffed animal and throws it around and gets into a literal fist fight with the fucking thing. I'm like, what? Why? What is happening right now? What do you mean he's fist fighting a fucking baboon? But it's okay. He just pulls out a knife and stabs it in the face, and it's dead now.
Yeah, I was kind of anticlimactic death too, you know.
Yeah, they kind of make it seem like that's going to be some big epic battle while Cunningham and the rich girl run away, but it's not. He just stabs him.
Personally, I thought it would have been better if after he stabbed him, they showed the monkey do this.
That's for everyone who was watching the movie. Is just like, that's how you feel. So the fire gets set. Davis tells the two girls to run. So Cunningham and Rich Earl make their escape. They get back to the recon base. As Brody and Davis seem to be dying, they pull out the 2-person life raft. They inflate it. They toss it in the water. But just as they're about to leave, who comes running over the horizon down the beach? Oh, it's Davis, who's somehow not dead. Who didn't die from getting his back torn apart by a fucking baboon. Also, he somehow outruns all the baboons here as he runs to the life raft, somehow not getting caught by the horde of baboons running behind him, which No, he's dead man. He would be tackled immediately. And they drift away. And they're all off to get rescued, whatnot. They have a little beacon inside the life raft so they can be found. And the movie ends with a final bit of Brody sitting up, leaning against a gas tank, lighting his cigar, and telling the scientist he'll be seeing him soon, Doc. And then we just get a baboon shadowed by a setting sun sitting watching them leave on a raft. And then we get Planet of the Apes coming soon, because that's what they might as well have done on this.
And you're right. I have always known about man. From the evidence, I believe his wisdom must walk hand in hand with his idiocy. His emotions must rule his brain. He must be a warlike creature who gives battle to everything around him, even himself.
That's Primal Force. That is a movie. It was made for TV. It really was. Sci-fi played it all the time. USA played it. It kind of got passed around everywhere. It's edited in a way that the kills aren't shown, so that they could be played there. Again, the only thing I like about it at all, it is not that I love this movie or I have like some deep whatever. No, I just enjoy Ron Perlman. If I could just take him out of this movie and just have just that, that's what I would have. But in order to see the scenes that I like, I have to watch this whole fucking movie. And it's a bad movie. It's nothing in this movie makes... This movie's easier to follow, and its plot makes more sense than DNA. But it doesn't make it good. It very much
now
feels
did Ron
like a Planet of the Apes prequel.
did Ron do this before he did Hellboy? I don't know what the date is on Hellboy. So
yes, because Hellboy I was a little bit older, because that was 2001, 2002, somewhere around there when that.
So this was between Beauty and the Beast and Hellboy. So yeah, Ron was probably just looking for a paycheck.
I would hope so, because it's not a great movie. So, but no, that's Primal Force 1999. As I said, you can find this free on YouTube on multiple channels. It is mind blowing how
and
many
some are
places
clearer
this
than
thing's
others.
up
I
at.
purposely watched the blurry version. Because it made it more fun.
Fuck you mean?
There's one that is it's only been up there for like 2 weeks or something, and it is the worst copy I've ever seen. It was like watching it on an old tube TV. Seriously, it was bad. It was
So before I get into the rules, I want to thank everyone who's on Twitter and TikTok, because I'm going to assume putting certain group on blast made them realize how stupid their claim was. And by the time this comes out, you've already seen it. DNA was almost completely banned, and I was having to look at where I could even try to make it go the way that it was supposed to be seen and not have it edited down to nothingness. But luckily for me, the group that claimed it, I know some people had questions on that, they were called the Lasso Group, which turns out is just a giant multimedia company. They're a faceless multimedia company that deal in anti-piracy and theft. When I sent them an email, folks, my email was very detailed in my dispute on YouTube of, hey, I completely understand where you're coming from for if we were playing the entire movie. I have a handful of clips that get used for just explanations and what we're talking about. It is free on YouTube on some random channel that is clearly not yours, because that's not the channel that claimed it. Also, there's multiple places that have the trailer. So why are we flagged? Like that makes no sense, sirs. But they did take that back, and I felt pretty good Because the last time I had to do that did not go my way, and I still got told to go fuck myself, and it was super frustrating. In case you don't know, when I first started this, the very first thing I did was Beast of Bray Road, because that was a movie, again, that was on Sci-Fi that I brought up, and Anthony had like a click in his brain of a scene from that movie, and I was like, yeah, that fucking werewolf movie. The review, the whole video I did was maybe 15 minutes long, so there's not much of any of that movie in it, and it still has a big old block on it, and I just ended up deleting it because I disputed it, and the company that owned that one still told me, nah, you can go fuck yourself. And I was like, okay. First of all, I didn't say anything that bad about it. It's only a 15-minute long video, so there's like maybe 2 or 3 clips in there. What the hell are you talking about? And that's the only time I've run into that major of an issue, but this time it went our way. Anyway, as always, folks, remember to follow the rules, which you have to be in the horror movie or other movie to realize what those are. If you're in something like Zathura, you just don't cheat. Just follow whatever the hell the game gives you to follow, and you're fine. But if you're not, you don't dump chemicals in the sewer. You don't bring things back from the dead. You don't genetically modify anything, period. You don't prank your friends as a serial killer. You don't take the wrong turn. You don't betray the puppets. You don't try to get revenge on the cannibal hillbilly dude that's chasing you, because that's not going to end well for you or anyone around you. Don't go to a witch for revenge. And you know what? Anything else, you're going to have to just figure it out as you go. Because as I said last time, the couple times here, it depends on what you're in and what those rules are going to be. They could change, they could stay the same. That's on you, dog. It's not me. Stay on, stay happy. We'll see you on the next one. Oh, and then be prepared for Oddtober whenever we start that, because this guy wants to do a bunch of foreign horror. It's going to be an interesting time.
The foreign horrors are the good ones. I mean, you're talking about the movies. I'm bad.
The movie, they are actually good movies. So you may notice for those, I have bad written off of the title for all of those, because these ones aren't actually going to be bad movies. But we'll see you then. Goodbye.
These are movies worth watching. Absolutely.
Yes.